What is up, everyone? It's me again, Gamer Lush, with another episode of the classes when we talk about the Phase 3 of the Final Fantasy Beta. This is not go against any of the NDR, non-disclosure agreements of Final Fantasy. These are screenshots, not recorded video or sound. What you hear in the background is some stuff I got off the OC remix of Final Fantasy songs that I loved, and playing the old versions of Final Fantasy, like all the way from 1 through 7. Didn't like 8 so much. Loved 9. 10 was good. 11, of course, I told you that I played a lot of. 12, it was alright, I guess. I didn't like that weird checkered level up system, I guess. Story was alright, yeah. Kind of feel like Star Wars. Whatever, anyway. Going on to 14, we were talking about the Archer, the Conjurer, and the Thaumaturge. Now we're going to talk about the Pugilist, the Gladiator, which I totally forgot to take pictures of. God, I am such full of fail. And the Marauder. Pugilist is a person that basically likes to get up in your face. Not really so, because a lot of his damage dealers do additional damage if they're flanked or behind them or to the sides of them. And it's basically just constantly throwing punches in there, and it has a combo system, basically. The first one will put you in a Opal stage or a Kruger stage. I forgot what the stances were, forgive me. Like I said, in the description below, I'll be putting a site that has a great description of each job classes and a lot of other things that are in the game at this phase at this point in time. So you're going to do Boot Shine, it goes into True Strike, which goes into Snap Punch, which goes into Haymaker, and you want to basically manage your buffs on your person at that time, or basically stance at this time, making sure you put out the utmost max amount of damage. And they have a lot of evasion moves, they even have self heals, and I can see where you can getting other skills from other classes at that point can make you a viable tank. Will just make you more of an evasion tank instead of just taking the hits altogether. And I can see that a lot happening with other classes, to where they can mix and match and just become very creative about which class. Like, I want to be a monk tank. Cool, just pick some gladiator skills, which I'll be talking about here in a second, and pick some marauder skills. I was like, I want to be a marauder tank. Cool, you can do that too. But they found a way to basically say, look, this is what your class does. We're a damage dealer, but we've sprinkled a little bit of things to where if shit hits the wall, you have some escape mechanics, dodging abilities, damage mitigation. And you know, with those things and the stuff and those skills that you can share with other people, you might be able to make this class who thinks is pretty much straight down the road into a viable class that's something else. So this DPS Pugilist can be a Pugilist tank. Yeah, a lot of classes can't be like that altogether. Like, it was hilarious. My Thaumaturge did the whole thing. All parties, I was the healer, even though essentially my character is a black mage. But I was able to use the workarounds and pick skills from the Conjurer to make my Thaumaturge into a healer. I didn't mind at all. Yeah, that's fine. The fact that it took longer to find parties that way, but you know, it was still flexible and it took less time for me to adjust the party's needs. It's like, just stop thinking about yourself. You're leveling that class regardless. No, I want to be a damage dealer, that's why I picked this class. I'm like, okay, fine, play that way. I paid Thaumaturge because I wanted to deal damage. Took a while to find a party. You know what? Let's make it a little quicker. We can't find a healer. That seems to be a big thing people don't. I just hate. That's why they put looking for group mechanics or looking for raid mechanics. They just didn't want to put the effort into finding people, or they didn't have enough time, which is totally understandable. Alright, so getting off a track here, we're going to go ahead and move on to the Marauder. This is my beautiful Rogadin in all her 8-foot tall glory. Now, excuse me guys, the last Final Fantasy games, cheers. I almost keep forgetting, it's like, that's probably like the funnest parts of doing these fucking videos. The last Final Fantasy 11 didn't have male Mithra or Makote in this game, or female Golka or Rogadins in this one. Now they have a female Rogadin. I jumped on a chance to make a female Rogan. Anyway, so I wanted her to be my big, buff, strong Xena type character, so I made a Marauder. I'm not a big fan of melee characters, but I wanted to give them a try and give them a fair a test out, see how they would do, and give me an understanding what their mechanics were about. So, of course, the Marauder is a two-handed weapon wielder, basically, and they get in there, swing the big axe or mace or hammer. They probably only have axes. I'm just like, one of the few gripes I have this is like the weapon garners what kind of class you are. So it's basically, you can't basically be a giant sword wielding Marauder. Maybe they'll implement that later on in the game, but all Marauders have axes. All monks have knuckles. They can't be like a bow staff monk or whatever. That would be kind of cool, but anyway, can't be a two-hander gladiator. I gotta have that shield. But you know, it gives you that mix where you like, okay, you want to be a two-handed tank? Fine, pick the Marauder. Because Marauder actually has a lot of moves to where, yes, it has the big swings where it does that big damage, but it also has a lot of damage mitigating effects, and it has a lot. Sorry guys, it's a thunderstorm out there. I'm not sure if you'll probably hear that or not. I'll try to edit out the sound, but whatever. It does a lot to where like you get this amount of energy, HP back when you hit something with that swing. You have a 12-second buff that mitigates damage for, so whatever. Like I said, guys, this is not a in-depth view of the classes. I'm not gonna read you every skill. It's just kind of stupid to me. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna just sit here and read these skills out to you, text verbatim. Like I said, check out the site below, and I can see where it can take a lot of gladiator skills and even be even better tank, but at that point you can still do the damage. So I'm not going to use those tank abilities. It would help, so like if you're in the close and you see this monster's doing a lot of in-close damage, I can still stay in the fray, which is a really cool thing. And I'm just going to grab some monk abilities that give me that damage or something like that, and, you know, and just make this a crazy fast Marauder with monk's abilities, which can stack, because yes, you can get monk, gladiator abilities, lancer abilities. Was it lancer? Yeah, I think lancer abilities into your that class and make it just straight damage, or make it straight tanky or whatever. That's what I like. It still has that look. Marauder's a two-handed tankish damage kind of person. That's what you are. But, you know, you can dip into this pool and make it that kind of character. And it's like, it seems like, oh, there's no customization in the character, when it actually has a lot of customization in it. It just feels really good. It's a good lead way of, this is what your class does. If you really want to do this kind of class, you can do it. But, you know, you can still have choices to pull from other classes, so you can play those. Give them a test out and see how you feel. Customize this kind of crazy pseudo run-of-the-mill, like, okay, I can switch, because you can switch class skills out any time, just not in combat. And, you know, it's like, well, I can grab these for this situation, I can grab it for this situation, which is really cool. It kind of negates the having to have talent trees for like every class and what have you. And it just feels, I think it's a really good idea what they did, to where it's like, the last Final Fantasy, you basically pick that job, pick the sub job. You were 60 red mage. Cool, you got all the skills from level 60, from 1 to 60, but your subclass is only half of what your main class was, so you have 30. But, so you only had the skills from level 30 to 1 to 30 on your subclass. So kind of like, ugh, this white mage has a really cool level 45 skill, but I can't get it because it's only half of 60 is 30. Ugh. I guess it kind of negated how you can be overpowered at that point, because you had a bunch of really cool skills past, I think it was 35, and I guess it would make you like the super quasi person that could basically cast all the spells and then have all the great skills of other classes and stuff like that. But seeing, looking at a lot of these skills, a lot of them aren't overpowered looking, and this just kind of just adds utility and just adds like a flair to that character. So you have multiple skills, how to combo them up, when to execute them, and it would really stack well with this skill. It kind of just has it to where if the skill seemed overpowered, they had this like Let's not make this shared with other classes, because that just kind of defeats that purpose of them becoming that class. At this point, I'm kind of just rambling. I'm not sure if you guys can get this, are getting this or not, but you know, it's kind of what I've had a feel of. It's like they throw you a class. This is what the class is essentially supposed to do, but you can dip into the pool of this one just to make it a little more fun, or you can make it to where you can make it like a tank or a healer or whatever. Now I'm just talking in circles. So moving on, I'm just gonna be showing some random screenshots that I took while on my adventures and talk about the Gladiator. The Gladiator is basically the tank class. It basically has almost no skills that basically are for damage dealing, which basically kind of like the White Mage. It's like the White Mage is like all heal spells, all protection spells. The Gladiator is like all shield spells, damage mitigation, threat. Shield yourself, shield a friend. But like I said before, you still have empty slots in skills, so you get like a extra skill slot, like I think every 5 levels or so. By the time I was level 20, I could pick out 4 skills from each different class that I had. And so I was like, well, I was leveling up Gladiator. I leveled up to about level 11 or so. I still can't believe I didn't take any pictures. And I basically took a bunch of skills from the Pugilist the Marauder to have, so it didn't take so long for me to kill enemies, because the damage they deal was decent, but it was just basically this does this much attack damage plus this much hate towards you, blah blah. This one is a buff that mitigates damage. Like, that doesn't help me take down the monster. Anyway, so the way they have the class system set out was way different from what I was originally aware of. So what I've seen so far is a great addition to what you had. So I made these crazy combos. I basically cherry picked the best skills that I've had from all the classes that I played with and digged around with, and had a great time. I had my Thaumaturge had Second Wind, which is basically it'll heal the monk for 10% of its life. It's basically, oh crap, I need a heal quick. And here, so I'm getting down below 20%. Bust, Second Wind. I got a quick heal, sleep the target, got the hell out of there, and then was able to use the cure spell from the Conjurer to heal myself at the full. And then after I was full up and the target was still asleep, and sleep does not cure people, like, because I played a mage in World of Warcraft and I hated how she healed the target I was on, and I fucking hate the crap out of it. But sleep does not cure them, thank God. I was able to burn that target down. It was great. Sleep doesn't work on like boss characters you'll find in like quests, which I'll get into later. But it made you feel like I have customization over this target. I can be unique. But then I can see where theory crafters will go in there like, no, if you're going to be this class, you need to get this skill, this skill, this skill. I appreciate what theory crafters do out there, but I hate what they do to the game. Basically, no, don't be creative, because if you're creative, your class is not optimal enough to run into dungeons and all this crazy crap like that. Like, they're like a necessary evil, unfortunately. It's like, if you are going to be hardcore like that, cool. There's always ways around certain gameplay mechanics or how certain people play a game. I want this game to be how I want my class character to be. I'm going to put Second Wind on my Thaumaturge, even though Cure basically kind of negates that. It's a instant cast heal. Gives me some breathing room to think, to where I thought, okay, I can sleep. I'm sleeping. And okay, now I can cure myself all the way up. Cool. So when I was playing my Conjurer, I was like, I got some healing spells and some weak damage abilities. I took Thunderbolt from my Thaumaturge, and now she has a secondary attack, so she can cast 2 dots on the monster now instead of just the 1, and just bombard them with stone. My Gladiator had Cure, so basically it was a paladin at that point already. Seeing how the class system works is like you have the Thaumaturge, Conjurer, Arcanist. It hasn't been introduced yet. It's going to be like a summer class. A Pugilist, a Marauder, a Lancer, a Archer, and a Gladiator. And those are going to be upgraded to Paladin, Warrior, basically what the classes were originally in the last Final Fantasy games were well known for. Those are basically upgrades, and those have like more defining spells. I don't know, it's like oh shit spells or something like that, more powerful spells, but those can only be used by that job. So those aren't like interchangeable or whatever. But the classes below that are, so it kind of gives you that freedom to customize them out. And so, from what I've seen, I'm looking very forward to playing and see what kind of crazy class combinations people out there and going to be creative about, because I'm pretty sure there's plenty of skills that I don't even think about. It's like this archer has a fire spell, even though I don't think they can get fire spell or lightning spell, but this arrow stacks on lightning damage or something like that. I can see the potential in this system so far, which seems really great. And so I cut this up into two series because I was thinking it was probably going to be too long. And so in the next couple episodes, I'll be talking about gameplay, what they fixed, what's been changed, overhauled, how the story was, how party mechanics was, and I've got a positive overview about all of them. But yes, I will try to find some nitpicks about it. And like I said, with the party system, it seems like no skill trees, no something you can look forward to every level, because it's like they had about a handful of skills throughout each class, but it's kind of like that reward that you get when you see that boom level up, and it's like, do I get anything? No, darn. It's like, but at least with like putting getting skill trees or what have you, you can like you at least get a point to add in something. Like, hey, I got a point to add and stuff like this. Even though it's really minute buffs, it still gives you that feeling of having something to do, like, oh, to look forward to every level that you've got. Maybe that's my opinion, though. I'm pretty sure a lot of people can get all over that. But as I said, I'm going to try to find and remember things that I didn't like about it and what they could fix, because it still is beta. They can look at it, fix it up. And I really like one thing with the classes, they felt like it was their class, even though a lot of the classes shared armor along the board. But I'm pretty sure as you get more and higher and higher and higher in levels, they'll start to segregate armors, which is either a bad thing or a good thing, because if you segregate the armors and no one in that party can use that armor, it's like, oh great, a waste, unless they get like a smart party mechanic to where it's like, oh, there's this, and this, so put in the algorithm programming, don't drop these armors or something like that. I don't know, I'm just babbling now, but I really appreciate it, guys. I'll try to get out videos more often here, so I'll be talking about, I believe, play mechanics and UI next one. And as always, cheers and game on. Career classes? I forgot what they call them here, because they're not job classes, because the advanced classes are called jobs. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, eight job classes. And I picked the archer here for her, and archers are basically straight damage. That's like, we have a shot that poisons damage, we have a shot that blinds, we have a shot debuffing and damage from afar. Now, if that strikes your fancy, which it does me, but I'm more of a I like to sling spells instead of arrows. This is the one for you. It